Hola, my lovelies. It's me, author Alexandria Infante. So, I did this video, but because I'm such a dingbat, I wind up erasing it. So, here I am doing it again. So, tonight's author, or should I say day, today's author is author. Just a second. Voila. Today's author is author Dariel Raye. And like I said yesterday, the book is called Sable, Dark Sentinels Book 1. Okay, so here is the cover. Once again. So I'm redoing this video because I freaking erased it. So, okay, so this book takes place, it doesn't actually say a location. Yeah. I don't remember reading an actual location, like where this book was set. I'm thinking it might be like Midwest, back east, one of those. Anyway, so the main character is Akila. And Akila is a veterinarian. She grew up in a pretty, like, affluent family. And so, but the problem is that her parents weren't very attentive to her. And so they would do pretty much whatever they wanted to do. And so to assuage themselves of the guilt, they would buy her pets. They would buy her animals to keep her company. So she winds up growing up loving animals. And so she opens up her own veterinarian clinic. And then on the side, as a side project, she has a no-kill shelter. And so basically at this shelter the no-kill shelter is they don't put animals down. So anything that's within the city limits or whatever, if it's a rare, or maybe it might have actually bitten someone or something like that. That's what I'm assuming. I'm not exactly sure if the bitten part is right, but from the way I'm getting it reading the book, this is where these animals would go. And she would basically try to rehabilitate them to remove whatever scarring that some human had done to them, which pretty much was what caused them to bite someone. And so I know this because my daughter, she's studying animal science as well. And every time an animal attacks someone, the first thing out of her mouth is, well, they shouldn't have done A, B, C, and D. And so she's like an animal champion too. She was little, she used to watch when sharks attack, and she'd be like, should have never been in his habitat. I'd just be like, you're happy that a human got eaten. She's like, I'm not happy, they just shouldn't have been there. You can't kill the shark. So basically I'm taking, like, that's how this character is as well. And so she has a friend who will give her a heads up when they get, like, some kind of animal like that. And so the friend calls her up and says, you gotta come and see this dog. And then she's like, he's like nothing that we've gotten so far. You really have to come and see it. And so she's like, okay. So she goes and meets the friend to see the dog. And when she gets there, it's a freaking wolf. And she's like, that's not a dog. His head is it's bigger than mine. She's like, that's a wolf. And so she automatically knows that she has to take him because of the fact that in this universe, wolves and stuff like that, if they are caught within the city limits or the crossing over the city limits in this universe, then they automatically would be killed. Like, you don't have to have any questions asked. You could just kill first. And so so basically she's like, she knows she has to take it, and so she does. And so instead of taking something about the dog, because, like, he had pretty much, like, snapped at every single person who tried to get within, like, a few inches or feet of him, and he was, like, lunging ready to kill. And so she had brought like a muzzle and a collar and all this other stuff. And so she starts, the minute that like the dog sees her, he like sort of mellows just a little tiny bit. And so she starts talking to him so she could get closer to him. And then everyone is like, oh, because he actually let her put the muzzle and the collar on him. And so she decides to take him home instead of taking him to the no-kill shelter. And so she introduces him to the rest of her pets, and it's like at this point that you find out that he's actually a shifter. And so the conversation that he's having in his head as she's talking to him is like really funny, because like at one point she goes, oh, so what shall we name you? And he's like, oh God, here it comes again. And like, he's a black wolf with blue eyes. So she's like, okay, he's like, here it comes. It's going to be Blackie. It's going to be like Shadow, something like that. And then she goes, Brutus, I think that should be your name. And so he's like, oh, wait, okay, well, that's actually not that bad. So she makes him a pallet up. She tries to feed him dog food, and he's just like, I don't that And so she's treating him like a dog, like an actual dog. And so basically she pulls out this big pallet for him to lay down on and everything. And so she goes and takes a shower, and like as she's getting in the shower, she doesn't have any clothes on because she's thinking, my pets are there. And so he's basically like on his paws like, and it was such a weird feeling for her that she was like, Brutus, go away. And so he so that he has his like little internal conversation too about just having watched her like about to get into the shower. And so so later on you find out that what it is that a little bit further into the book you find out what it is that his sister went missing, and he went to find his sister. And when he got to where the scent was, because him and his sister, they're not your normal werewolves. They're not like your normal shifters. They pretty much are. So they're completely different. Like they don't have an actual pack. Like they are the protectors of the packs in their area. And so like, because they are like, I guess, a mutated form of werewolf. Like when I think she said when the mother was pregnant with them, they did like some testing or something on her. And then when they were born, they were probably like 10 years old. They came to get the mother, and the mom like made them escape and run. And so they're actually twins. So they have like a psychic bond or a kinetic bond or something like that. And so when she went missing, the link to her was completely gone, which is what freaked him out. And so he went to find his sister. And in the process of going to find the sister, he shows up at this warehouse, and basically he's ambushed and he's drugged and like pretty much poisoned and drugged. And so this is at the point where Aquila the friend finds him, and then Aquila gets him. So at this point, he's been in werewolf form for 3 days. He hasn't eaten. And so basically she makes the pallet for him, and then she decides to like snuggle up in the bed and go to sleep. Well, he could feel the shift coming back. So he escaped out of the bathroom window. And then she wakes up later because she hears some coughing or whatever. And she thinks it sounds like a human. And so she goes and she looks for him. And then she can't find him anywhere. She gets in the car. She starts driving around calling him Brutus, whatever. And so basically he's gone. And so she goes home like really dejected. And she's all sad and basically bawling, which is probably something my daughter would do too. And so she's really upset that she lost him. And so then basically he shows up the next day, but what he does, he's in man form. And when she says man form, she's like 6'5", just hunk of burning love. And so he So like he pretends like, you know, he doesn't know her, all of this stuff, and that he's a veterinarian himself, and he runs a shelter, and so he has a no-kill shelter as well, and he wanted to talk to her about it. Well, the reason why he wants to is because when he went to her offices, he smelled his sister, or someone who had been in contact with his sister close enough for her scent to transfer on them. And so he doesn't want to believe that she's involved because of the fact that she was so good to him and so kind to him. He doesn't think that, but he needs to know what happened to his sister. And so he asks her out to dinner. And then she realizes that she has an attraction for him. He realizes that he has an attraction for her. But his whole thing is she would never accept him because of what he is. And so basically that's where I'm going to stop, because everything else will pretty much tell you the rest of the book. Because this isn't a long book. This book is about, let's see. I think it, see, that's the thing, it never has like actual, Kindles never have, only a few have actual pages. But oh, you know what? Let me check it in the store. Because I don't think it's that many pages. And I also wanted to talk to the readers about, what do you guys think when a book is like 45 pages and it's $2.99? Actually, this is a pretty good page. It's actually 204 pages. It didn't seem that long though, because it read very, very fast. So it didn't seem as long as that. Like, yeah, it's 204 pages. So basically, and so that's, but that's where I'm gonna start, because then stop, because if I go any further, then I'm getting into the real meat of the story, and then that's not, you know, we try not to do the ending here, which if I go further, then it will pretty much get you into the ending. So so basically, they have this insane attraction towards each other. Akila has a couple of issues that, you know, she's been alone like so much in her life, like because of the fact that her parents pretty much just appeased her with animals. They didn't actually spend time with her. And then the fact that Sable is not the normal werewolf. He is so he's pretty much like I have a character in that, like that in one of my books, Ambrose. He is the arbiter. I can't remember what the actual Greek name is. I mean the Norse name for it, but it's basically like pack protector, pack hitman. Like if something needs to be done and the Ulfric is like, you need to take him out, then he will go and take him out. So he's pretty much like the pack, you know, he's like the pack hitman. Or he does it's Norse and it's called Abendare. That's right. And what it basically means is evil doer or evil worker. And so not so evil as in the, you know, like they're doing deviltry, but killing someone, taking him out. And so so that's kind of what Luke, I'm sorry. Speaking of another book, that's kind of what Sable and his sister, I believe her name is Jessica, that's kind of what they are. And so he has been alone for so long, besides his sister, that he doesn't know how to react toward, you know, emotions and feelings like that as well. So I thought this book was very cute. If I had to star it, I would star it a solid 3.75. And the only reason why it gets a 3.75, like, I didn't see any typos, the sentence structure, the book, the flow of it, all of that was great. I just kind of feel like it was an easy read. And when I say easy read, you guys know I've done a couple of those easy reads, where the book just reads. It's a good read, you know, but there is no like, pow, bang, boom, where you're just like, ooh. You know, there was none of that in there. I just read it and it was a good read, but it was just, you know, it was a good read. It was an easy read. So this book gets a 3.75 for me, because I just feel like there could have been more oomph to it, you know, more oomph to the story, to where you were just like, oh my God, this, oh, yes, you know. I just didn't get any of that. I got, you know, this is a good read. I really liked it, and that was pretty much it. So I started this book a 3.75. And so once again, the author's name is Dariel Raye, and the book is called Sable, Dark Sentinels, and this is book 1. So this is more than likely a series, and she is a USA Today best-selling author as well. And so basically, Dark Sentinels, book 1, Dariel Raye, and the book is called Sable. So I'll show it to you guys one more time. There it is. And make sure you go out and pick up this book. Come on, support our indie authors. It's like, you know, basically, they live off of your support. Of course, they can do it without you. Well, actually, no, they can't. No one can do it without you. You readers out there, they desperately need you. So, that's pretty much it to this review. Once again, the author is Dariel Raye, and the book is called Sable, Dark Sentinels, book 1. And so I really want you guys to go out there and pick this book up because it's a very good read. I still feel like I was missing that oomph and that pop, but it's still a good read. And so make sure you do. Now, tomorrow, we will either be reading Stolen by Dani Raye, which is a short, dark romance, or Taken. Depends on which one I want to read. Jen sent me both of them. We will either be reading Taken or by Felicity Brandon, or she is an Amazon best-selling author. And this is a dark romance. These are dark romances. I wanted to stick some of those in there. We did one last week, but it wasn't really that dark. So these two, though, are very, very dark. And so we may be doing Felicity tomorrow because she is an indie author. But she won Amazon best-selling author. So, of course, she is. And then if not Taken, then we will be doing Dani Raye's Stolen. And so it pretty much just depends on which one I'm feeling more, because Jen sent them both to me. Now, she actually bought these 2 books. These 2 books aren't free, and these authors are not on our roster. So if anyone knows them, let them know. Dariel Raye was not on our roster either, so if anyone knows her and knows of her book, Sable, and you know her out there in the Facebook world, let her know that we reviewed her book over here because we liked it. And because Jen and I will read them both. We both read them because of the fact that, like, if I can't do the review, then at least she can, even if she won't come on the friggin' channel, she can review the book, give her opinion of it, and then worst case scenario, I can read it on the channel if I didn't have the time to read the book. So we're reading both of these at the same time. So like I said, they're not on our roster, and they're not free. She actually bought these. So I will be reading either one tomorrow. Either Stolen, which is by author Dani Raye, or Taken by author Felicity Brandon. Now, this one I actually started, and the beginning of it is really good already. So I'm not sure I may do this one because, you know, tomorrow is our mainstream Caucasian Indie Author Day. So I will be reading either one of those. This one, the Taken one, I had already started, so I might just go with this one because it was so good already. So I will let you know. Not sure yet. And then on Friday, we are going to have our LGBT author. The book is called, just a second. I'm loading it while I'm actually talking to you guys because I can't remember. I believe it's called Bums Out, but I don't remember the author's name, so I don't want to like put that out there like that and just be all janky. Okay, so the book is called, it has a really funny cover. It looks like an anime. It's called Burnouts. Why did I say Bums Out or Butts Out? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. So it's called Burnout, and it's by Danny Hermit and Nevi Star. And so basically, that will be our read for tomorrow. Basically, I'm not exactly sure what to expect yet, but it looks good because I actually like the cover. And so that will pretty much be it for tomorrow. So don't forget to subscribe, because, you know, we need you as our subscribers. If you're new to our channel and you've never watched us before and you like this review, please click that little subscribe button, and then down there at the bottom there is a little bell. If you click that, it will alert you each time we upload a video. And if you are an indie author, please submit. We have a few what would you call them? Darn it, I'm drawing a blank here. Parameters of submitting, but basically we don't review street. We don't review street literature. We don't review Christian, and then we don't review nonfiction. But besides that, bring it on in, and I will see you guys tomorrow with either one of those ladies. Thanks bunches. Peace, love. Don't forget to subscribe.